welcome back po. Welcome back to LIRA in Law. We are broadcasting live from London, England. And salamat po for joining me on our weekly Thursday broadcast. No? Ang topic po natin, as I said before, is visit visas. Visit visa is the most common category of immigration in the United Kingdom. Dahil nga, mga taong gusto bumisita nga dito, dahil gusto na makita ang pamilya nila, or just have a look around, no, London. But it's also the most, in a way, kind of controversial, that mainly because of myths surrounding this. But it's really mainly chismisan, no? So some people think, oh, itong batas, hindi naman. And then and sometimes also certain things are said, tapos lumalala pa nga yung problema. Now, so visit visa. Let's start always with the starting point is always to explain ano bang visa. So visit visa is really exactly that, no? It is as it says on the tin, as they say, coming into the United Kingdom to visit, no? Now, not to work and certainly not to live permanently. Now, let me just see if I can show you nga ang itsura ng visit visa, no? Let me just see if I can show you a photo, a kind of sample photo. Tingnan nga natin of the visit visas. And let me just see if I can find it. Now, tingnan natin the photograph of the visit. Ito po, no? I managed to find one also with a Philippine twist to it. So ito ang itsura usually. Nagbago ng kaunti because of the changes in the law, and this is a kind of a sample from a few years back. Pero ganito pa rin ang itsura. So of course, United Kingdom nga, on the left-hand side, makikita nyo kailan nag-umpisa ang visa. On the right-hand side, makikita nyo kailan natapos. Itong taong to, nabigyan siya multiple visa, 180 days. No? So makikita nyo dyan, halfway down, see visit visa. Okay? Ang galing nga sa Pilipinas. So ito pong itsura, pretty much. No? It's changed a little bit since, but ito nga itsura mainly. Now, common misconceptions about visit visas. Let's look at them. Okay, there are really, if you like, 5 main ones. Titingnan natin lahat, no? So una po, and this is actually, as I've said, I owe this to the viewer last week. Nga question nga niya, are visitors now allowed to work in the United Kingdom? Because there've been headlines to say, 31st of January 2024, so obviously a couple of months ago, visit visa holders can work in the United Kingdom. It's a bit of an exaggeration. So it's not entirely incorrect, but it's also it's mainly incorrect. Okay, so ang nangyari po, 31st of January, the Home Office provided what's called a statement of changes, actually a few weeks before that in December, but it took effect on the 31st of January. So sabi doon, the Home Office has expanded, kind of work-related activities that visitors can undertake when they're in the United Kingdom. But really mainly it's to do with business visitors. So for example po, this was before the 31st of January. Kung papasok nga kayo dito as sabihin natin as a legal expert, to give evidence at court, for example, or indeed sa legal expert to do with the medical field or the finances. Pupunta nga kayo dito to give your to provide your expertise, provide a lecture nga in relation to certain areas of law, medicine, like ganon. Can you get paid? The answer is you can get paid, no? As long as that's obviously declared to begin with. And in the past, ang tawag nga is if you're paid related, visa. Now, on the 31st of January, that was expanded a little bit. So sabi nga nila doon, kung nandito nga kayo as a speaker, you can get paid even though ang magbayad nga sa inyo is a UK-based company. So usually hindi nga kayo pwedeng kumita nga dito, but if you're coming in to be a speaker nga, say in a lecture hall, for example, you can get paid quite properly. You're not in breach of immigration conditions. So it's business related. Now also, sabi nga nila, Kung ang trabaho nyo, nandito nga kayo, may trabaho kayo sa atin, and you're having to check your emails, you're having to reply to your emails, you may be taking phone calls, pero trabaho nyo nasa atin nga, you are allowed to do that. You're not going to be in breach of your immigration condition just because you're working, if you like, or you're continuing to undertake nga your work from elsewhere. But I mean, to be frank, how do you police that even? No? So I'm not surprised they just clarified that issue. So yung sabi nga nila na you can now work in the United Kingdom kung it's not actually correct. So for most people, sabihin natin dumating nga kayo, visitor kayo dito, no? For Easter, no? Because Easter is of course coming up. Tapos meron kayong nakilala, sabi na, magtrabaho kayo sa amin, no? For, I don't know, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 8 weeks nga lang. As a carer, for example, no? Pwede ba yun? The answer is no. Okay? So for the vast majority, we're looking at siguro more than 95%, you still cannot. So do not be lured into thinking na pwede nga. May mga tao din, narinig ko nga din to, no? Ay, walang problema, kailangan nyo nga lang magbayad ng ganito. Pagpasok nyo doon, pwede kayo magtrabaho, visit visa nga kayo. Hindi po yun tama. No? So beware. It was expanded as at the 31st of January for business visitor visas, if you like, no? And I think rightly so, no? They've taken the practical view of expanding it nga. But hindi po yung pwede in the normal circumstances. Myth 1. Okay? Now, another myth is that you can ang tawag na vary your visit visa when you're in the United Kingdom to take up employment. So, similar thing nga, no? So, pagka nandito na kayo, ang chismis nga pagka nandito na kayo, visit visa kayo, pwede yung palitan. So, pwede kayo magtrabaho nga dito. No. Okay? Mali din po yun. And actually, that's quite it's quite a worrying it's quite a worrying myth dahil nga yun usually I see that happen kung mga tao ay meron silang agent nga o sabi nila yung problema bigyan kang visitor visa pagka nandun ka na pwede mong palitan. Hindi po yun tama. May mga tao nagsasabi sa inyo na yung nga lang kailangan nyo visit visa pag nandito na kayo dito nyo papalitan. Hindi po yun tama. Be very careful in paying anyone, no? That's to do nga with that. So be very careful nga. Dahil pagka nandito na nga kayo, kung visitor nga kayo, hindi po yung basta-basta. In fact, you usually cannot. I mean, I've been involved in a few cases, no, where visit visa binigay sa kliyente ko and we were able to vary. But mainly it's to do with correction of their visas. Dahil nga mali yung binigay ng home office sa kanila. And in those cases, it's not so much varying the visa, but rather correcting the wrong grant of visa. So, ingat nga po kayo. Another, common myth, third one, no, is that you can vary your visa when you're in the UK to stay with your partner. Again, this is about as common as the one before. Na pagka visa nga lang, nandito na kayo dahil nga sabihin natin settlement status yung partner nyo nga dito o boyfriend girlfriend nyo nga dito o kaya Briton nga sila, hindi problema, yun ang chismis, no? Hindi problema, pagka nandito na kayo pwede yung palitan. Hindi po din yung tama, no? Kung visit visa nga kayo, it's exactly that. Bibisita nga lang kayo, babalik kayo sa atin. And if it doesn't matter nga na Briton nga yung asawa nyo o yung boyfriend nyo o yung girlfriend nyo nga dito o settlement status nga sila. Usually, kung visit visa kayo, hindi nga yung pwede. Unless there are what's called exceptional circumstances. Now, kung client ko kayo na nanonood nga kayo ngayon, I'm sure I've explained to you ano ibig sabihin exceptional circumstances. I mean, exceptional circumstances can be quite a lot of things, but ang tawag nila, the threshold of showing that the circumstances are indeed exceptional is quite high. So usually it means may mga bata o kaya may sakit or to do with political situations nga. So you're able to basically sasabihin sa home office o alam namin ang batas usually hindi pwede. But because of our situation, please look at it as an exceptional case. Yung sinasabi nyo, under exceptional circumstances. So, ibig sabihin, magpapasok kayo application to vary on exceptional grounds. And usually, certainly, pagka ako nagpapasok ng application, ang dami kong kailangan ipasok. So, statements na kliyente ko, statements ng partner na, kung may partner nga, or statement from friends, family, why it is that it's exceptional. Also, if there are country reports, no, hindi nga lang basta-basta makakauwi, kung may sakit, medical documents. So talagang mabigat ang kailangan yung pakita. And to be able to satisfy the exceptional circumstances. So hindi nga po yung basta-basta. Again, kung may nagsasabi sa inyo, walang problema, pasok kayo, visit-visit lang po ninyo. Tapos pagka nandun na kayo, papalitan nyo. Hindi po yung pwede. Okay? Usually, unless there are exceptional circumstances. So again po, ingat nga kayo kung yun ang pinayo nga sa inyo. Now, myth number 4, no? So, again, chismis. So, you can marry in the United Kingdom with a standard visit visa. Now, this needs a bit more explaining. Now, marami pong mga categories ng visit visa. Yung mga different types, there's a standard visa is the most common. I would say siguro 80% ng mga tao, standard visit visa ang kinukuha nila. But there's also a marriage visit visa. So, kung papasok nga kayo dito, ang balak nyo, ang purpose nga ay dito kayo kakasal, no? Tapos babalik nga kayo sa atin. Yung nga lang dito nyo gusto may kasalan, nandito pamilya niya, o kaya even pamilya nyo, or you just want to be able to marry in the United Kingdom. Ang kailangan nyo pong ipakunin ay the marriage visit visa, not the standard visa. No? I've heard people say, well, it's one of the same. Hindi po, iba po yun. The main difference is the other one, that is the marriage visa, is exactly that. No, yung titignan nga nila, who are you looking to marry, where are you looking to marry. So when you make the application, kailangan yung pakita nga, if you like, different evidence nga. There's also a practical reason nga for it. So sabihin natin, nagkamali kayong pagpasok, no? So, pinasok nyo standard visit visa, yun nakuha nyo nga. Nandito na kayo, gusto nyo magpakasal. Now, kailangan nyo pumunta sa registrar, sa marriage registrar. Titignan nga nila, makikita nila standard visit visa kayo. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nyo sinabi sa home office na yun ang balak nyo. Okay? O kahit sinabi nyo, hindi yun visa binigay sa inyo. So, ang mangyayari, sasabihin ng registrar, marriage registrar, na yung ang balak nyo, pupuntakin nilang home office as they're usually required to do. Tapos, the home office would normally say, well, no, we want to extend it by 70 days because we want to investigate. So, kung nagkamali nga kayo, nagpasok yung standard visit visa, they can say, home office that is, no? They can say na mali yung pinasok nyo, or worse, that you lied, no, on purpose and therefore entered the United Kingdom illegally. So, ibig sabihin, baka magkaproblema kayong ikasal nga dito. At yung pangalawa, hindi lang po yun. Baka kahit umuwi kayo sa atin, no? Baka magkaproblema kayong makabalik nga dito. Because they may say, you lied to the home office. You lied on your application. So, kung balak po, papasok nga kayo dito, and yung nga gusto nyo magpakasal, make sure you choose the marriage visa route. Okay? Same cost anyway, yung nga lang iba pong ebidensya. Ang maganda nga, kung hindi kayo magkamali, yung nga, pumasok nga kayo dito, marriage visa, yung nga pinasok, yung nga in-apply nyo, ibig sabihin, pagka nakita nga kayo ng registrar, alam na ng home office na yung nga ang balak nyo. So so you don't need to wait the usual 70 days, no, for the home office to investigate. Dahil alam na nila, sinabi nyo na nga dati. So, mangyayari nga, ikakasal nga kayo dito, and then you need to go back, no? So, kung galing nga sa Pilipinas, no, kailangan bumalik sa Pilipinas, tapos kukunin nga kayo dito as a spouse. Now, just on that, no, not directly related sa topic nga natin, kung gusto nyo mangyari, magpakasal nga kayo dito, pero ayaw nyo nang bumalik sa atin, then fiancé visa ang kailangan nyo. Kung fiancé visa ang pagpasok nyo dito, ibig sabihin, pwede nyo palitan once you're in the United Kingdom to that of a spouse. So 6 months visa din bibigay sa inyo. So same time nga as a marriage visa, which is also usually 6 months nga. And then, pagka nandito, kung fiancé visa ang bigay sa inyo, pagka nandito na kayo, once you are married, you can then swap in the United Kingdom. So hindi nyo kailangang bumalik. No? Once you can then swap it in the United Kingdom for spouse visa. Beware po, no? Once you have a fiancé visa, pag hindi nyo pa nakukuha yung spouse visa nyo, hindi kayo pwedeng magtrabaho. Okay? Magtrabaho kayo, during that time, you are in breach of your immigration conditions. So, ano gawin? Pagka nakuha nyo yung spouse visa nyo, which will be for 2.5 years, then pwede na kayo magtrabaho. Okay? And again, dahil alam nga ng Home Office na papasok nga kayo dito sa fiancé with the view to marrying in the United Kingdom, yung registrar, hindi na nila kailangan kontakin ng Home Office in order to, if you like, inform them that this is your intention. Because they already know it. No? Sinabi nyo na nagpasok na kayong fiancé application na. So, that's, if you like, that's an addition, no, to yung pinag-uusapan nga natin dito. So, let's go back. No, I digress, sabi nga nila. Let's go back to the visit visa issue. No? Now, the most common, by far, no, misconception or myth, no, or chismis to do with visit visas is the length of time you can stay. No? Now, I'm just going to put this here because I want to make sure nga makita ko na ma-explain ko nga lahat do. So, ang pinaka talagang malaking problema, if you like, the worst chismis of all is the maximum you're allowed in the United Kingdom to stay kung visit visa nga kayo. Now, ito po, and you know, it's something that I've always found nga a bit of a concern. It's such a common misconception, and I think I know why. No? Then prepare ko nga yung topic nga natin ngayon. I came across a couple of actually articles from advisors nga, actually providing the wrong, no, advice in relation to the maximum time. So I'm not surprised that it's become quite a common misconception, and it can have of course legal but also practical consequences. Tingnan po natin, no. Most common myth, as I say, the maximum time that you can stay in the United Kingdom. Now, starting point po natin. Ano bang klaseng visa nyo? Do you have a multiple visa or do you have a single visit visa? Multiple means pwede yung lumapasok dito multiple times, okay? So more than once. More than twice, more than multiple. Single visit visa, exactly that. Isang beses lang. Okay? Actually, I've not seen a single visit visa for a long time because I think a lot of people just find it not really relevant dahil baka gusto niyang pumasok dito more than once. So, sabihin natin multiple visit visa kayo. Now, sabihin din natin 6 months ang binigay sa inyo. Of course, makikita nyo naman, again, let me just show you actually the photo again, okay? So, makikita nyo nga dito. Let me just go back now to the photo here. Makikita nyo nga dito the 6-month visa. Pakita ko sa inyo yung time scale. So, makikita nyo dyan. So, on the left-hand side, nandun nga yung the start of the visa, no? Kailan nag-umpisa? So, sabi nga dito, 8 April 2019. Kailan natapos? 8 of October 2019. So, 6 months visa binigay din sa tao. So, during that time, dahil multiple visa ang visa nga niya, pwede siya lumabas-pasok nga dito. And of course, 6 months nga lang. Okay? Because that's what it says on the visa. 6 months nga lang. So itong dismissed, if you like, itong chismis na to doesn't really have any bearing kung 6 months visa or not much bearing kung 6 months visa nga ang binigay. Now, I would just say kung 6 months visa ang binigay nga sa inyo, it does not mean that pagka dumating kayo dito 6 months, no? 6 months po, it's actually what it says on the visa. Okay? A long time ago, siguro mga 20 years ago na, no? Pagka dumating nga kayo dito, 6 months, no? And then every time, 6 months again. Hindi po na yun, okay? Kung kailan matatapos ang visa nyo, yun ang katapusan. So you don't get an automatic extension just because you came a bit later. So it's importante po that kung 6-month visa, 6 months nga. So tingnan nyo maigi yung expiry date. So yun ang una, for 6 months. Now, this myth, this chismis, no, this misconception comes about kung mas ang visa nyo as a visitor, nga visa nyo is sabihin natin 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. So those are the lengths of the duration of time nga usually given or could be given if you apply for this visa. Not everyone would get, say, 2 year, 5 years, or 10-year visa. Gusto nga siguraduhin nila, that is the Home Office, that you're not likely to overstay. You can afford to come in and out of the United Kingdom without recourse to public funds. So, pero sabihin natin, you were fortunate enough to get either 2-year, 5-year, or 10-year visa. Ano bang ibig sabihin? Now, the most common misconception is 6 months nga lang in any given year. So sabihin natin, okay, ano na tayo, March na tayo, no? So that it's 6 months from March this year to March next year, no? Yung 6 months nga. So kung dumating nga kayo ngayon, isang buwan nga kayo dito, ibig sabihin, you still have, if you like, 5 months in the 12-month period to then enter the United Kingdom, pero hindi pwede kayo lumagpas ng 6 months. Mali po yun, no? In fact, mali po yun. And it's such a common misconception. It's a bit scary, frankly. You know, sometimes nga, as I've said, nung pinaprepare ko ito, I came across articles saying exactly that, pero mali po. You know? So, sabihin natin 2-year visa nga kayo. Maximum stay nyo during that time, no? So, sabihin natin, anong petsa natin yan? 28 March tayo, no? 2024. So, 2-year visa kayo, March 28, 2026, matatapos ang visa nyo, ang visit visa nyo. Now, hindi ibig sabihin na pwede nga kayo ditong 2 taon, dire-diretso. But, you can come in, dahil multiple visa nga kayo, you can come in and out of the United Kingdom during that 2 years, so hanggang 28 to March 2026, nung matatapos ng visa nyo, for a maximum of 6 months. So, I can see a lot of people. I can almost see people saying, "Oh, talaga, no? Talaga po." Okay, so it is actually 6 months duration each time. Now, in theory, and I say this as a theory, I mean, it is also the reality. Pero kailangan nyo nga lang mag-ingat. So, sabihin natin, dumating nga kayo ngayon. You stay for 6 months, no? Or nearly, yeah. So, sabihin natin 6 months na tayo, Marso na tayo, April, May, June, July, August, September. So, nandito kayo hanggang 28 September, no? Or 27 September, balik kayo sa atin. 1st of October, gusto niyo bumalik uli dito. You can, because you still have a visa, and the visa is for 2 years. You can stay again for another 6 months. So, you do not need to do calculations from the point of view of 2 months here, 3 months there, and then so when you hear 12 months, so until March 2025, you cannot go beyond the 6 months. Mali po yun. It's 6 months duration, 6 months maximum stay per visit to the United Kingdom, as long as may visa pa nga kayo. Now, should you do it though? That's the other thing, no? That's a different thing altogether. It's a practical issue. So, ang sabi ng batas, of course, yeah, you can come into the country maximum duration of 6 months during the time na may visa kayo. So, kung may visa kayo hanggang 28 to March 2026, then you can come in and out of the country, out of the United Kingdom during that time, as often as you want. Maximum 6 months per stay. But careful though, no? Then what the Home Office do not like, and I can see why they don't, of course, no, is that kung ginagamit, if you seem to be using this visa as a way of kind of quasi-residence in the United Kingdom, then of course, ang visa nyo nga, visitor po. So, hindi kayo pwedeng magtrabaho, hindi kayo pwedeng tumira dito permanente. So, if you are in and out of the United Kingdom very frequently for long stays, pagka pumasok kayo next time around, it could be that you get questioned by the immigration officer at the airport. So kung ang akala nga nila, no, if they have evidence or they think that hindi nyo nga, you're not complying with the conditions of your stay, dahil either nagtatrabaho nga kayo dito, o dito na kayo nakatira, or anything like that, pwede nilang bawiin yung visa nyo. That can then cause all sorts of issues. So, although legally speaking, no, you're perfectly entitled to stay 6 months each time, no, you also need to be careful about the practical, if you like, how it looks, no, and of course, no, kung ang purpose is to visit, exactly. If you're one of the lucky ones, nga, no, you who are able to simply, travel in and out of the United Kingdom. Actually, I know a few people like that, travel in and out of the United Kingdom. Then great, visit visa nga, and enjoy, And kung tanong nga kayo, just be ready nga with your answer, which is what. If you're retired, say so. You're retired, nandito ang pamilya nyo, you're entering the United Kingdom now, but next month maybe you go to France. So, explain nga yung situation, kung masita nga kayo. Hopefully not, because it's always a bit of concern if there are issues raised, especially nga sa airport, no? Pero yun, I emphasize again, because this is, I saved the best for the last, if you like, no? Because it is the most common misconception, and it is, I think ito nga it's not corrected, because even some advisors have come across, yun sinasabi nga nila, pero mali po yun. So 6 months po, so I suppose it's good news, no? 6 months po yun, every time you enter the United Kingdom during the time may visa kayo. So kung 6 months nga ng visa nyo, then of course it doesn't come into the equation. But as I say, kung 2-year visa kayo, 5-year visa kayo, 10-year visa kayo, and actually recently I've been seeing a fair few 10-year visas. I didn't see 10-year visas for a long while, but it seems it's coming back. Uso na naman, no? So it's 10-year visa. So you can come in and out of the United Kingdom during that time, no? May visa nga kayo, maximum 6 months. You do not have to calculate, no? And also, that's another thing that I don't understand. I mean, how do you calculate? Are you looking at the time 12 months now from the date that you entered the UK? Or are you looking at per calendar year from January to December? So it doesn't even really make sense. But it is, I suppose that's what that's the thing with chismis. No, it doesn't often make sense, but it still goes around. So yung I suppose it's a little bit of good news that kung nandito nga kayo and you're saying, oh gosh, no, magsi 6 months na nga ako from January, you can stay a little bit longer if you want to. It's 6 months from the date, so 6 months from the date of your entry into the United Kingdom. And you don't have to add it together in order to not go over the usual 6 months. So so it's it is, as I say, it's a common misconception, and hopefully I have corrected that to some extent. So meron kayong mga kaibigan, kamag-anak, gusto magbisita nga dito, and they have they're fortunate enough to have either 2-year, 5-year, 10-year visa. Pasa nyo yung message ko, no? Because that way, kung they can potentially stay in the United Kingdom a bit longer, ang mahal ng pamasahe, so it would be nice to be able to stay a bit longer, make good use nga of your holidays, no? Especially na nga ngayon na tumaas nga ang presyo for traveling, and sometimes it's also quite nice to have them around for just a little bit longer. Now, hopefully that was of interest to you. Siguro papansin nyo naman, I always get a bit, I'm always quite passionate about our topics nga. But I am more so passionate about our batian, which is the next segment